Welcome back to Friday Night Film Noir, and today we're going to be discussing Manhunter, the 1986 neo-noir picture from Michael Mann, who you may remember did a great job directing Thief with James Caan. And if you've heard of Silence of the Lambs or you've watched that picture, this is a predecessor to that. It's a little different. It's based off of the novel Red Dragon, and it does include some of the same characters. But the idea is that Will Graham, a former FBI agent, he's been called back to action to try to find a new serial killer named the Tooth Fairy. Now, he's been out of the business for a while because one of his last cases just messed his brain up into little pieces because it really got under his skin. It caused some PTSD. And that was because that was none other than Hannibal Lecter, who gets very little screen time here, even compared to Silence of the Lambs, which Anthony Hopkins did not have much there either. But Brian Cox takes what little time he has in 2 scenes and really makes a lot of it. And you're able to see through the character's actions how tortured he is and how much personal anguish he's going through. The performance of the lead does feel like a grittier, darker Humphrey Bogart. I've been watching In a Lonely Place again to prepare for the channel for other videos, and I saw parallels here. This is a deeply troubled individual, and so much of the picture is about how this former agent, now he's tried to come back into the swing of things, how he's working through that. I mean, he has to try to take on the mindset of these killers and figure out what were they thinking. And those lines blur and they cross, and it's difficult, I think, for him to, remain composed. He could be at home with his family. He could be living his life. The story is told beautifully through excellent blocking. There's the opening shot. You'll notice this right away with 2 characters sitting kind of away from each other, sort of beside each other on a beach. There's another shot with the main character and his wife that's similar. There are plenty of fantastic uses of light versus shadow, darkness, but I think where the movie really shines visually and where it has a unique texture and film language, when Will first revisits a crime scene, he walks up these stairs, he sees a toy. You've already seen his route that he's going to take because you're sort of seeing what the killer did, but he goes into the bedroom, and when he's in there studying it, he's seeing the blood. I think some directors would have overly sensationalized this, but Michael Mann did something different. He forced you to be in the room where it happened, with the blood, with the evidence, just like the investigator has to. And you gain a special sense of finality watching this unfold as the character's looking for clues. You know this family's dead. You know they're gone. You know that they will never experience these memories again. And as much as any scene I've seen in a serial killer movie, I was convinced of the power of the aftermath of the killer. Very creative, good stuff. I think this movie is less roundly entertaining than Silence of the Lambs. It doesn't have that bombastic performance from Anthony Hopkins. It's a little bit less cat and mouse with the big reveals and the oohs and the ahs, but the stylistic choices, the synth soundtrack, that's all really going to get you invested. There's a theme in this picture that one is always being watched. There are cameras. There's a reporter who chases down our main man, to try to figure out if he's looking for the serial killer, if he's caught him. There are mirrors that sort of investigate their way into the soul. Anywhere, anytime there's a camera, it's looking right at someone. And parts of this even almost reminded me of like Peeping Tom, the recent release from Criterion. I do think that there are parts that are a little slower than others, but as far as individual shots, cinematography, I mean, it's great. There's a scene toward the end with a character with some blood all over the floor, that it has a very convincing shot of violence and mayhem and so forth. It's good stuff. I do think this is a must-see for anyone interested in film noir and kind of seeing a twist on that, that uses both color and some elements that are a little updated from the 40s and 50s and so forth. But definitely check it out if you have the Criterion channel. It's on there right now in the Synth Soundtrack Collection as of the time of this video. Have you seen Manhunter? If so, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, or if you want me to consider covering another film noir topic, let me know. We'll see you next time on Cody in the Cinema.